Hey, it's American Gyopo and I'm back with another video. Today I'm accompanied by my stuffed animals. Aren't they cute? Anyway, today's video will be about how my teaching experience was with the fact that I can speak, write, and read in Korean. So basically the Gyopo aspect of EPIC and my teaching experience. So let's talk Gyopo. If you're a Gyopo like me who is interested in teaching in Korea, specifically with EPIC, I'm not sure about Hagwon experience. My big concern as a Gyopo was the fact that even though I spoke Korean pretty well, to the fact that the Korean people here are like, oh, you sound like a complete native, I was worried that I would be treated as a complete Korean person just because of my language ability. And so during orientation, we had Korean staff or Korean students help us during the orientation process and teach us lessons and stuff. And so I asked the girl in charge of Gangwon-do orientation about how the teachers would react if they knew I was a Gyopo with the fact that I spoke Korean pretty well. And she told me it was a case-by-case situation. So that made me pretty worried. I asked some other staff members around there too, and they gave me the same answer. It's a case-by-case situation. And so that just made me worried even more. And this was the same worry that my friend had too. Eventually, what happened was, as my CT picked me up from the immigration, what do you call it? The place to get your ARC and stuff to send in the application. I had to test out the waters. I do feel bad for her. It was kind of funny. I tested out the waters first. I spoke to her only in English because I wanted to see, just kind of see her personality, see what like the reaction would be and stuff. And so for about 2 hours, because it took about 90 minutes to our area, she took me to the school first to quickly show me the school and the office. And as we came out, I turned to her and I was like, 사실 저 한국어 할 수 있거든요. Which means, honestly, I can speak Korean. And basically, she was just so shook. There was a guy teacher who was helping her out too. And when I told him to, he was like, oh my God. He was like, here I was worried about talking to her in English, like to me in English and stuff. So it was a pretty funny reaction. And then when I finally started working, there's an admin lady in our office, my 부장님, which is like a head teacher, and then the VP. And so with all of them, I spoke in Korean. And then with all the other teachers too, I just spoke to them in Korean. Here's the funny part though, I had to tell them, please don't tell the students. I probably didn't tell all the teachers, but yeah, so every time like I was with a teacher and there's some students around, of course I would talk to them in Korean, but the students don't hear this. And so after, if they like see us and like, oh, teachers, right? I would just tell the teacher like, hey, just say you know English. And then they, the Korean teachers would be like, yeah, of course I'm good at English. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, overall, everyone had a good positive reaction, thankfully, because perhaps it's the countryside area or whatever, but everyone was pretty worried about communicating in English. And same thing for my elementary school. As I told you guys in my previous video, I have a travel school. Same thing with that. The teacher that I'm in contact with over there is good at English. And then it was kind of on the way to school because she picked me up the first time to show me how to get there. And then later on after the walk, I turned to her and I was like, same thing. Like, hey, I speak Korean. She's like, oh, shoot. Like, she was shocked, positively shocked. And then later on too, when I met the other co-teachers for the elementary school, they were very, very relieved that I spoke Korean. And they all like were very happy and like, whew, like she speaks Korean, like I don't have to do English kind of vibe. So that was also what happened. Here's another thing to note. My co-teachers were also all pretty young, I believe, too, which maybe was also another factor. I'm not sure. I feel like they were all born in like the 80s or the 90s, so that could have also been a factor. I'm totally not sure. But I thought it would be helpful to kind of know the age range. So basically, I just pretended the entire school year that I did not know Korean, or I just let them know that I knew the basics. I knew how to read their name, I knew how to say hi, thank you, kind of, like a introduction kind of thing, right? My elementary school, I finished with them on Friday, the 23rd, and reaction video coming soon. But yeah, they completely did not know. First, second, and third, I spoke to them in Korean, especially first and second, because they're babies and they have not learned English yet. Third grade, sometimes. Fourth, fifth, sixth, like never. And same thing with my junior high kids, my first year, second years, and third years. Fourth, fifth, sixth, first, second, third years, what I did was be like, no, 문자, like this, like some basic one word thing sometimes. I would put like one Korean word in a sentence sometimes. I'm like, no, I said 문자. And I'd be like, 직신 game. I learned a new word, 직신, yeah. And then when we played music games, like completely non-academic related, just for fun games, like music games, I just told them if they don't know it in English, like the singer's name and stuff, just write it in Korean. They wrote it in Korean. They knew I could read it. So I let them know about that. And maybe I'll give an update about this later. Originally for my junior high revelation, I was going to go class by class and record it. There was a festival today, and there was an event, a masked singer event. The home ec teacher recruited me before the week I was going to tell my students. And so I ended up singing in Korean today. There was no interview section though. So what happened was, I think the students still don't know that I actually know how to speak Korean, because after I came down from the stage, they were like in English, teacher, so good, oh, voice so pretty. And I was like, oh, thank you. Because I expected them to go off at me in Korean, but they didn't. But to the students that I had to reveal, like the contestants with me, like the participants with me for the masked singer, I had to tell them, and they were shook. Same thing with some other students who were helpers for this event. They were just like, they just kept saying, oh, 완전 충격받았는데요. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm completely shocked. Like, and they were like, 쌤, like 한국어 하는 줄 알았는데요. 근데 이렇게 잘하시는지는 몰랐어요. Like, teacher, I knew like you kind of knew Korean, but not this good. Because they thought I just knew the basics. Again, same thing, just reading a bit and saying some words. And after the performance, the kids were like, wow, her Korean pronunciation was so good. So tomorrow I will be going into the classes tomorrow and seeing what happens. So stay tuned for that video, and I probably will give an update about this later. But yeah, that is what happened. So for me, no, my CTs did not say a word to me. This was completely out of my own volition. I just decided not to know Korean, like pretend not to know Korean, or else the students would have been like, teacher, just please say it in Korean. So I just pretended not to. I know one of my other friends, another Gyopo, her CT, her school specifically told her not to speak any Korean at all. So there's that. So I think that's also a different thing. Like maybe the school will request of you, like if they know you're Korean. I'm actually not sure. If you're not a Gyopo that speaks Korean, that's a completely different story. They'll just be amazed, but if they know like we're Gyopo, yeah. Anyway, there's that. I feel like I've talked about this experience in my other video, but because such a small town, my Korean's really good. I go into a restaurant, a shop, they wouldn't even know that I am a foreigner. They would just think I'm a Korean person unless I'm with my other foreign teachers, and then they're like, what are you doing here? And then I say, we are the English teachers. I'm like, oh, you too? And I would say, yes, me too. So I guess that is another thing. I guess this is the only thing that comes to mind right now. So if you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. And then please like and subscribe. And I hope that this little experience of mine helps out future gyopos who decide to apply for EPIC. Again, if you decide to be a hagwon teacher, I think that will be a completely different story and situation that I hope that this video specifically you will not take 100% and apply it to the hagwon experience. But also, of course, do not apply this to your own EPIC experience too, because this is just simply one gyopo's experience in Korea. And luckily and fortunately and thankfully, they were all positive reactions. Okay, bye!